What's going on, guys? CTG Matt back. This is a continuation of a video I made probably a few weeks ago at this point. I want to see how it did before I decide to continue the series and do one thing I dislike about every NBA team. I'm gonna title this video something along the lines of like hating on every NBA team. That's not what this is. I'm critiquing, stating one way how they could be better, or a player who is disappointing, or anything along those lines. Kind of like one bad thing about every NBA team. We're going to start off in the way Cleaning the Glass has their teams ordered. I think it's by alphabetical. No, I have no idea how it's ordered, actually. I think it's by city? Yeah, I think it's by city name. All right, so we're starting with the Atlanta Hawks. For the Atlanta Hawks, I have that they kind of only rise for good teams. They've beaten teams like the Cavs. They've beaten the Celtics. They've beaten the Bucks. They've beaten the Lakers. Do with that what you must. They've actually beaten the Cavs twice. But then they go out and they lose to the Bulls, they lose to the Mavericks without Luka, they lose to the Trailblazers, and they lose to the Pistons, and they have 2 losses to the Wizards, I believe. What? It doesn't make any sense. They wake up to play good teams, but they do not really wake up against the bad teams. They've been playing really great ball recently, though. They've been kind of stepping up and beating bad teams recently. Of course, I say that they get drummed by the Nuggets the other night, but minus that Nuggets game, they've been playing better ball recently, and I'm kind of happy with them. But yeah, the one critique I have is that they really don't wake up against bad teams. They play down to competition, but I think that's what comes with being a young team. They're very young, let's be honest. Trae Young, literally young. Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter, Onyeka Okongwu, Zachary Ricochet, obviously. All these guys are young. So yeah, they just don't wake up to face the bad teams, or they think that teams are going to roll over for them. That's not the case. This is the NBA. But yeah, that's the only critique I really have. They've been playing good ball recently. Happy for them. On to the next one. Next up, Boston Celtics. The critique I have for the Boston Celtics is that their defense has kind of slipped this year. The Celtics for the last 3 seasons have been a top 3 defense in terms of points per 100 possessions. They've been top 3. This season, they are 10th. And top 10 isn't bad, don't get me wrong, but being 10th from a team that for the last, I don't know how many years, has prided themselves on being a defensive-oriented team, it's definitely not a great look. Obviously, Kristaps Porzingis helps when he's on the floor, but the issue is that when he's not on the floor, teams are getting to the rim and finishing basically at will. I was at the point where they had to choose Kornet or Queta because, well, Queta, let's be honest, Queta's a better rim protector. Kornet's a better offensive rebounder, so they kind of had to draw up whether they wanted it to be like a plus for having Kornet on the floor for offensive rebounding, or if they just wanted to put Queta out there for the defense. They chose Queta. I understand it. Thing is that their interior defense still isn't that great. Teams are basically getting to the rim at will. Opponents are shooting 67% at the rim this season. That's 19th in the league. Like, them shooting 67% puts the Celtics at 19th in the league for rim defense. It's terrible. It's bad. Hopefully Kristaps shores that up when he can play, but as for right now, that's kind of what their critique is. Some of these teams, it's kind of difficult to draw up something bad for them, like the Brooklyn Nets right here. Most of their roster is probably going to be gone by about the end of the season. You know what I mean? By mid-season, a lot of these guys are going to get traded. Cam Johnson, DFS, Dennis Schroeder. These are all guys who are probably going to be gone by mid-season. So it's kind of hard to critique them right now because it's not even like their young guys are playing. But my one question and my one critique is, how can this team not really rebound well? They're bottom 5 in rebounding. They're actually bottom 5 in offensive and defensive rebounding, despite having Claxton, Cam, Ben Simmons, Jalen Wilson, Zaire Williams. All these guys are plus sized for their position. And yet this team can't rebound worth a damn. I respect Nick Claxton, but Ben Simmons is basically a center at this point. Get down there and rebound the ball. Zaire Williams is like a 6'7" point guard and you can't grab rebounds. I don't know. Why can't this team rebound? Charlotte Hornets, what the hell is happening in your training rooms, dude? Can anybody stay healthy? LaMelo has missed time. Brandon Miller missed time to start the season. Grant Williams is done for the season. Miles Bridges has played 11 games. Trey Mann has played 13 games. Nick Richards and Mark Williams have played a combined 12 games. This whole team is hurt. I mean, there's a reason Taj Gibson is on the damn roster. They are hurt. All of their big bodies are going down except for Moussa Diabate, who I think it's Diabate. Moussa has been playing very well, but when you can't get your starters on the floor, and now like I said, LaMelo's out, and he'll be back soon, but even then, with the amount of time that this team misses, it's really hard to see what the team's capabilities can be when you can never get the team on the floor. Like, Grant Williams was having a spectacular season for them. He won't be playing again this season. You know, Miles Bridges has missed some time, and he's like their most physical wing. So it's really difficult to see what this team could be like at their ceiling when nobody's there consistently. Chicago Bulls, Pat Williams, Josh Giddey, still terrible. Here's a fun stat that's probably not fun if you're a Bulls fan. Patrick Williams is 7 for 28 on mid-range jumpers this season. 7 for 28. Even more baffling, Patrick Williams is 15 of 34 at the rim. He can't make a mid-range. He can't make a layup. This was a guy who was compared to Kawhi Leonard, and he can't make a mid-range, by the way. He was compared to Kawhi coming out of college, and he can't make a mid-range shot, much less at the rim. He is not a physical player at all. Patrick Williams, I don't want to be like mean about it, but he peaked in year 2, and it's looking like a former 4th overall pick is just a bust. The Bulls look like they busted that pick. Let me be honest. I'm going to just be blunt. Now we can talk about Josh Giddey. P. Giddey. Josh Giddey's always going to get his stats. He just does. You know, the other day he had a 10-assist game. But if you watch the game, he is not like that. His defense is terrible. He turns the ball over way more often than you'd like out of a guy who's heralded for his point guard qualities and his ability to pass. He's a decent playmaker, but he turns the ball over so damn much, it almost negates the assists he gets. He'll put up 10 assists with 5 turnovers. That's a 2-to-1 ratio. That's not special. I really did think Josh Giddey could be an MIP candidate. Like, he was on my short list of guys I thought could be most improved because I thought this team was going to be run and gun, fun, and they are. It's just not Josh Giddey. Giddey's even shooting the ball worse than last season. He's averaging less assists than last season. Shooting the ball worse, too. I mean, you got a fresh opportunity here in Chicago, and like I said, everyone, including me, thought that this would be like a breakout season. He finally gets to be a true point guard. He's still not that good. At the end of the day, I mean, Josh Giddey's still, 22? So I guess there's still time, but he has almost no offensive bag. He doesn't create separation well. He's too slow, and he's not Luka. Luka's slow, but methodical. He gets to his spot, and he can make jumpers. Josh Giddey ain't making jumpers, man. So he's just too slow. It's like if Ben Simmons was slower. You know what I mean? He's an oversized point guard who can't shoot, and in Josh Giddey's case, he's just too damn slow. He can't accelerate to the rim. I'm going on a Josh Giddey rant because he tricked me, man. On to the next one. Cleveland Cavaliers, things are going so well that it's kind of hard to point at one specific thing and say, yep, that's the flaw. The one thing I will say is where's Jared Allen? Similarly to kind of Rudy Gobert, Jared Allen just doesn't get touches often. I keep almost calling him Jared Allen, like the edge rusher. Not the same player. But also, just like Rudy Gobert, Jared Allen does better when he gets offensive touches. Feed your big guy. Whatever happened to that? I'm not saying he should get the ball. You know, Charles Barkley said on Inside the NBA earlier this season that he thought Jared Allen could be a 20-a-game guy. No. I don't see that. I'm not co-signing that sentiment. But geez, is 16 too much to ask for? How about 15? And most of Jared Allen's shots are created by the guards. And recently the guards have been more so looking to create for themselves and create their own shot. And it's kind of leaving Allen to just be a big body. He's in the paint pretty consistently, and he does his job defensively still to an extent. But feed your big guy. Dallas Mavericks, another team where things have been going pretty well recently. But Daniel Gafford, not great. Kind of a minor complaint because of how good Derek Lively's been, but Gafford's defensive on-off numbers show per 100 possessions, the defense allows 10.2 more points per 100 possessions when Daniel Gafford is on the court, and opponent effective field goal percentage goes up over 3% with Daniel Gafford on the court. Again, maybe that's not his fault. He's probably covering up for other bad defensive players on the roster, but realistically, your team's been doing well. What do you want me to complain about? Klay Thompson's not shooting 45%? Oh no, Quentin Grimes is a 6th Man of the Year candidate. Denver Nuggets, this was an easy one. The Nuggets without Jokic might be the worst team in NBA history. In my opinion, that falls on one guy, Jamal Murray. I can't really figure out what happened to him. I'm not saying he's he kind of has been washed so far this season, but I'm not sure what happened to him. He just doesn't create separation anymore. And when he does, listen to this one. He's shooting 37% on jumpers that are considered wide open. 37%. Okay, how about when the defense is a little bit closer, but still not really that close? What about open shots? Open shots, 42%. Jamal Murray might come back at some point because there's no way an NBA player who is of Jamal Murray's caliber should be missing this many wide open and just open shots in general. But as for right now, he's missing them. And that's enough cause for concern, to be honest. When Michael Porter Jr. and Christian Brown are vying for second best player on the Nuggets, that's not good because both of them are just role players. Jamal Murray's supposed to be like the second star. And again, I'm not trying to say that he's washed. Real talk, he might be, though. Detroit Pistons. Y'all kind of remind me of the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, you don't have the championship, but when Cade Cunningham is off the floor, the Pistons might be the second worst team in NBA history. Of all the lineups that have played 70 or more possessions for the Pistons this year, the ones without Cade Cunningham, none of them are positive. No lineup without Cade Cunningham that has played more than 70 possessions this season has been good. To be exact for you and to show you exactly what I'm saying, the Pistons' offensive rating with Cade Cunningham on the floor, 115. The Pistons' offensive rating when Cade Cunningham is not on the floor, 107. An offensive rating of a 107 would be good enough for the 5th worst in the NBA currently. So probably not as bad as Jokic, but not good. And I like the additions they've made. This is another team where it's kind of hard to... I'd be picking at things that I don't need to pick at if I were to complain. I was originally going to write about Tobias Harris, but he's played good defense to the point where it's like he might miss a couple of threes, but he's still hustling. And plus, on top of that, it can't get any worse than last season. So, there's got to be some happiness. And it's hard to talk about a team like the Pistons in negative light when they've done kind of well for themselves, considering they lost 25 in a row literally a season ago. Golden State Warriors is kind of a simple one as well. This keep or sell young guys, this whole weighing your options thing for the last 3 seasons, it's left you in purgatory almost. The Warriors and Dennis Schroeder, to me, feel like a perfect match because DeAnthony Melton's done for the season. They don't have a backup point guard unless you want to run Pods. And while Pods has been good, he hasn't really been that good offensively shooting the ball. So the minutes without Curry aren't the best. And so I feel like a guy like Dennis Schroeder could come in and really work with that team. I really feel like he would do well with them. However, with how the Warriors have been playing this whole should we keep, should we sell, should we keep, should we sell, they're trying to overplay and overvalue guys like Kuminga and Podziemski and Moody. I like Podziemski, and I think he's the one safe one. But if Kuminga wants a bag and you're not willing to give him that bag, you should move him. I don't know how difficult that is for Mr. Dunleavy, but he needs to be moved somewhere else where he can have more opportunity. Not saying he doesn't have opportunity in Golden State. He has ample. The thing is that it's just different playing for a rebuilding team. If you trade him for Jakob Poeltl or something like that, move Wiggins and him for Jakob Poeltl or something something like that. I feel like he would have better stats on a rebuilding team. So if the Warriors aren't willing to pay the guy, trade the guy. And while you have a top 5 point guard of all time still playing elite basketball, capitalize on it. You already did in 2022, technically, or 2021, whatever. I think it was 2022. Either way, you technically capitalized on it already, but the iron's still hot. Why not strike? Houston Rockets, if you had to guess who is shooting the highest three-point percentage on the Rockets this season, who would you guess? All right, what if I told you it's Dylan Brooks? Yeah, he's shooting 39% from 3 this year, but the overall picture is the Rockets as a whole are a bottom 5 3-point percentage team. They can't hit a 3 right now. They're also bottom 3 in assists per game as a unit. Do with that what you must. Obviously, the defense is a calling card of this team. They are rough and tough. This is like a grit and grind Grizzlies team. They have their baby Marc Gasol, in Şengün. You have your baby Zach Randolph. Oh, I don't want to say that. Your modernized Zach Randolph and Jabari Smith. He's not banging in the post no more. He's shooting threes, baby. But you also have your stopper, Dylan Brooks, Tony Allen. Maybe not to the same extent. They're both great defenders, though, in their own right. And then you have, a point guard not nearly as efficient, Mike Conley versus Fred VanVleet. And then the comparison starts to fall apart when you realize who is Jalen Green in this scenario. OJ Mayo? I don't know. But obviously, like I said, this team is built on defense. And outside of Şengün, the offense is kind of consistently inconsistent. And that's the only consistent about them, is that they're going to be inconsistent. But you would really like to see this team take a step up in three-point shooting, make a couple of more shots so that way it takes the pressure off some guys like Şengün in the paint. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much that simple. Just make more threes. But Ime Udoka is a defensive-first coach. We've known this, and they've been playing really good under Ime Udoka right now. So I'm not going to sit here and tell them to change your whole entire offense. That ain't me. But what I will tell you is that, hey, you might be a little bit better if you can make a couple more threes. Indiana Pacers, we are here to address the elephant in the room. It's Tyrese Halliburton's road splits. Yeah, his assists are up on the road. He passes the ball more. That's really cool. He's still shooting 37, 26, 84 splits on the road. That's inexcusable. Halliburton's average plus-minus at home is a +4. On the road, it is -9. I saw the hotel bed excuse. I don't know if you've seen this one. I don't know if you're chronically online like I am, but somebody made up, or not even made up, somebody had a theory as to why Halliburton's struggling and said it was because the hotel beds on road games are messing with his back. If that's the case, buddy, just buy a mattress topper. But I don't know. You're sleeping in 5-star hotels, bro. They are not staying at Motel 6. I promise you that. They're playing at the highest end hotel you can get. If his back is still hurting after that, I don't know. He needs to hit up them masseuses Deshaun Watson was on. Until we have a confirmed, real reason as to why Halliburton's struggling on the road, all I can say is I got to call out bad play. I have to call out bad play, and I can't just ignore it because of a fan theory. You know what I mean? For the LA Clippers, this offense is hilarious. They're 23rd in offensive rating. They have 2 shot creators, James Harden, Norm Powell. If neither one's going, they will not win that game. But they will clamp you up. This defense keeps them in games, keeps them afloat, you know, in their win-loss record. And if Norm can keep this up until Kawhi comes back, maybe you have something. But I guess the overall thing is still like, what is the highest that you see this team? What is the highest seed you could see this team at with healthy Kawhi? For me, it's probably like 4, maybe 5. That's not great, but I don't know. I don't see this team winning a freaking championship, but I don't know. They're fun as they are, and it's a team that I kind of wrote off before the season started. So again, it's hard to really critique them, but at the same time, the offense is really just 2 guys going back and forth. We're staying in LA, talking about the Lakers. This team is soft. Like, there's no other ways to describe it. They are soft. There's no consistency. They have no identity. The 2020 Lakers were a tough, rugged defensive team. Rondo, Avery Bradley, Dwight Howard in the paint with AD, KCP, Alex Caruso. They had defenders on defenders on defenders. And in 2021, I think they kind of overcorrected, thinking that they had no offense, which was true. Their offense was kind of bad in 2021, but they overcorrected by trading for Westbrook. We won't talk about the Lakers like that. I'm not going to keep digging. But my point is that in 2020, they had an identity, and they knew what they wanted to be, a tough defensive team. In 2024, going into 2025, they really don't. They've added all these offensive pieces, these shiny offensive pieces that can get you 20 points. Dalton Connect, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent. You would expect with all these additions that they'd be like a top 10 offense or something like that. Nope, they are 14th, about middle of the pack, and their defense is still bottom 5. What the hell are we accomplishing here? None of these pieces make any sense. They don't play cohesively like at all. This is not a fun team to watch, in my opinion. LeBron is looking old at some points. He looks good some days, bad some others. Yeah, he's 40. We all know Anthony Davis can't play center. It is really on Rob Pelinka to make this roster work somehow. I don't know what the hell he can do. JJ Redick is going to need a hair transplant by the end of this season. Somebody buy him a plane ticket to Turkey. But it's like, if you're going to add all these offensive pieces, can you at least put together a top 10 offense? They can't even figure out how to do that. This team can't stop stepping on their own feet. I don't know how else to describe this team other than sad and soft. Memphis Grizzlies, there's not really much going on here. This is another one of those teams, but the only critique I really have is that Desmond Bane is struggling to score. He's shooting 33% from 3, 36% from the mid-range. It's not really that good. He's struggling to find it. Hopefully that's just early season woes. I get it's not really. It's kind of early still. I don't know. There's plenty of time left. But the most interesting stat that I found was in games where Desmond Bane plays 30 to 39 minutes, he has a 116 offensive rating. In games where he plays 20 to 29 minutes, he has a 95 offensive rating. And that's only an 18-minute difference. the sample, I mean. It appears he only wants to play in games where he plays 35 to 39 minutes. His splits are way up. His scoring is up. Most of his productivity is up when he plays more. His efficiency is up. I think the simple fix is to just plug 35 minutes a night on Desmond Bain. Clearly, that's the fix. Now, I have no idea why he's struggling, but I did find that split quite entertaining. His offensive rating drops 20 points when he goes from 28 minutes to 32 minutes. Miami Heat, there's reports that you're selling. Please do. Please do. Please do. This team is boring. I don't like watching your games. Bam has become almost nothing offensively. It's really, really sad to see. He's not really doing anything. I don't know why. Terry Rozier, bad. Jaime Jaquez, bad. I have no idea why everyone's just dropping on this team. Like, Jimmy's playing okay when he plays, when he decides he even wants to play. When he decides he even wants to play when he plays. He'll play for 35 minutes and take 8 shots. Did he really even play? I think the funniest moment maybe this season from any NBA game might have been the other day when the court audio caught Bam and Rozier arguing about rebounds. Terry saying, I have 9. I wanted my double-double. Let me get my double-double. And Bam's like, you're fucking up my rebounds. That's kind of crazy. They're both talking about, I want to stat pad rebounds. Y'all are clearly in this for the right reasons. Just sell. Jimmy, goodbye. Terry, goodbye. I don't know who else. Thomas Bryant, you want him? Kevin Love, you want him? Just build around Pele Larson, Bam, and Tyler Hero. I guess that's it. I don't know. That's a weird starting spot. I like Pele Larson. Milwaukee Bucks, I'm unsure whether this is even a good team or not. Still, they ended up winning tonight in their in-season tournament game against the Magic. Of course, it was a shorthanded Magic team, and they still were in a dogfight. Yeah, the Bucks really haven't beaten many teams. Like, you could count tonight because the Magic are a good team, but they are missing Paolo and Franz, which is like, it's kind of, they're down their best 2 players. It'd be like beating the Bucks down Giannis and Dame. Kind of unfair. The Bucks are now 11-10 against Eastern Conference teams. That's an abomination, considering the East is an abomination. If you're 11-10 against Eastern Conference teams already, I don't know how you're going to do well or expect to do well against Western Conference teams. I don't know. But they did beat Houston. That's like their one quality win in my mind, at least. Beating Houston is a quality win. The rest, it's like Indiana, Washington, Detroit, Chicago. Those should be penciled in wins damn near. The offense is just really Dame and Giannis reliant. I mean, that's just kind of that's a Doc Rivers team. We have 2-star players. They're going to see the ball every possession, and then we're just going to figure it out. Unless Bobby Portis decides to have his one rare good game a month. He's so inconsistent, and I've talked to Bucks fans about Bobby before, and they're so split. Some of them hate Bobby. Some of them love Bobby. I love when they chant, Bobby, Bobby, whenever he picks up a foul like he's some Make-A-Wish kid. Minnesota Timberwolves, the shooters ain't shooting, huh? Dante, 32% from 3. Jaden McDaniels, 31% from 3. Naz Reid, 34% from 3. Hell, even Julius Randle's 36% from 3. They are struggling to score consistently. Sometimes it really just feels like if their opponent scores like over 102 points, the game's over. Yeah, they really need to hold teams to like sub 100, and they actually have a chance. It really seems like once teams break like that 103 to 105 threshold, you might as well just cut the lights off. It's over. I am once again asking, if you have a first round pick, top 10 pick, 8th overall pick actually, and your team can't score. Your team is struggling to score 100 on a nightly basis, damn near it feels like. Your team is struggling to score, struggling to get instant offense, and you have this 8th overall pick. And the 8th overall pick's calling card through the draft and through training camp and everything throughout his entire career playing basketball, he's been known as a bucket, a guy who can go score 20, 30, maybe more, an electric scorer. He was the 8th overall pick. Why is he not playing? Why? What do they know? How bad could he be in practices that he gets 0 PT on damn near a nightly basis on a team that can't score? I like Mike Conley, but why the hell is he playing almost 40 minutes some nights? I don't know, brother. Rob Dillingham's main talent is scoring. Just please put him on the court more. I can very, very well see him boosting this team because they can't score. For the New Orleans Pelicans, you can just literally revert back to what I said for the Charlotte Hornets. Nobody's healthy on this team. B.I., done. Zion, no timetable. Jordan Hawkins is down with one of the worst sounding injuries I've ever heard. Apparently he's fine, but it's like a lumbar something. I don't know. It's a gross name. Jose's down. Herb Jones has played 8 games. DeJounte Murray's played 8 games, and he hasn't really looked good in 8 games. I don't know what the hell to even do with this team anymore. Pelicans fans, are you watching the Pelicans anymore? What are you watching for? Yves Missi? I like Yves, don't get me wrong, but bro, I don't know how many times I can tune into a game and watch Brandon Boston get 25 to 30 minutes. I can't do it. New York Knicks. Mikal is having a really weird season. At home, Mikal Bridges' splits are 53, 36, 73. 36 from 3 is like, 73 from free throw is like, 56 from field. It's pretty good, though. On the road, those splits drop to 43, 32, 33. 33%. He's 2 of 6 on free throws on the road. It's 2 of 6. Still not really good. However, 43 from the field and 32 from 3 is actually really sad. And that includes a 6-point drop in production from a 20 score at home to 14 on the road. Here's another weird stat I found from Mikal Bridges. This one's from like Mikal and Josh Hart technically, but Mikal Bridges, obviously on corner threes, is shooting 47%, but only 24% on non-corner threes. Compare that to Josh Hart, who is shooting 43% on non-corner threes and only 30% in the corner. They are literally inverse. Oklahoma City Thunder, this is another team that's kind of hard to drum anything up for, but I went with the Caruso trade not really being quite great for them. And obviously they don't regret it. You know, Josh Giddey probably would have gotten the same amount of PT as Alex Caruso. Josh Giddey isn't really good either. So obviously I'm not saying they regret the trade, but Caruso shot 41% from 3 last season, and he's currently shooting 27% this season. The Thunder didn't give up a ton. Like I said, it's Josh Giddey. Nobody gives a damn. You don't regret that trade. But the one thing I would have liked to see is Caruso strive there. And with Caruso and Cason Wallace struggling to make threes, it's kind of given a lane for the young, old rookie AJ Mitchell to get PT. I don't mind that. I like AJ Mitchell, but I would have liked to see Caruso kind of strive there a little bit more. Sure, he plays great defense still, but some nights he's getting like 15 minutes because he just can't make shots. The Magic, this team's kind of dead now without Paolo or Franz. I still want to address their inability to win on the road, though. They literally just lost in Milwaukee right now as I record this. They're undefeated at home, 10-0, but they are now 7-10 on the road. In order to win a playoff series, especially if you're not a top 4 seed, you're going to have to win a road game. And if they can't reliably do that, you're kind of cooked in the playoffs. But here's the thing, obviously the bigger issue right now is that Paolo and Franz are both down, and you are going to need Jalen Suggs to go on like a generational run. Shout out Goga Batadze, though. He had a good game, and shout out Mo Wagner. He did too. And Anthony Black. I really like Anthony Black. All right, Philadelphia 76ers, Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre, Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry. None of them can really make threes consistently. Kyle Lowry is the best out of them. He's still shooting like 35% though. The Sixers defense has been actually like decent recently though. That's helped them like stay in games. But if the shooting doesn't turn around, the defense won't really matter much, especially if Joe is going to be inconsistently in and out of the lineup card. And Paul George can't make any shots. He's playing good like defense and he's playmaking kind of decent. But if he can't make shots, it's going to really be tough down the stretch. And like I said, Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre, Tyrese Maxey, Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry. These guys need to be able to shoot. Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker's inability to win them games without Kevin Durant on the floor. He can't make shots this season. I don't know why, but he's shooting 43, 33, 90 splits. His point per game total is the lowest it's been since 2017, 2018. You could say he's playmaking more. No, his assist per game is, I think it's actually less than last season. His playmaking is about the same. He's just not making shots. His rebounding is down. His defense still isn't great. Booker simply he's just been disappointing to me. I wanted more out of him. And especially with KD out, this is the time where you got to be putting up like 30-point games like it's nothing. Instead, he's out here shooting like 6 for 20. You know, so I'm not quite sure what to make of this Devin Booker season, but it hasn't really been a good one in my opinion. They need KD back in order to be like a real team again. Portland Trailblazers, I think the better question would be what has gone right for the Portland Trailblazers this season. Scoot still doesn't really look good. Anthony Simons hasn't found his shooting yet, and there's rumors he might get moved. DeAndre Ayton exists. That's a problem in and of itself. Jeremy Grant is not really like, I don't know how to describe it, but he doesn't play team ball right now. He's kind of just hunting his shot when he is one of the best corner 3-point shooters on the team. Should be playing off the ball a little bit more. Jeremy Grant should just go to a contender, but I don't know. Chauncey Billups, not a good coach. That's how I'm gonna finish this segment. Chauncey Billups is not a good coach. I've said my piece, Chrissy.
I said my piece, Chrissy.
Sacramento Kings, what happened to my boy Keegan, bro? I love Keegan Murray, but why can't he make a shot? 49.5% effective field goal percentage, 49.5. That's really bad. 29% from three. Horrible. He can still defend, which is cool, but the issue is that now most teams are kind of daring him to make a three. They're okay with giving him open shots. And if Keegan can't hit shots, well, you're going to continue to get more open looks. What did Paul George say on the podcast that one time? He was saying why his teammates were like, "Why you keep shooting?" He's like, "'Cause I'm open." And his teammates told him, "We wonder why you're open?" If Keegan was hitting his shots, the blame would more so fall to Kevin Huerter. However, it's been Keegan Murray. He was one of my favorite players last year, man. Just make some freaking shots, dude. I really like Keegan Murray. His rebounding is up a good amount since last season, but scoring across the board is down. And I want Kings fans to let me know down in the comments, like, what the hell really is going on with Keegan Murray this year? Why can't he make shots? For the San Antonio Spurs, I have a love-hate relationship with Keldon Johnson. Of course, this is a team that's kind of playing better than expected, so I can't hate on him too much, but Keldon Johnson's been kind of disappointing for me. Keldon Johnson's a Kentucky product, so I can never truly hate him, but he's been pretty brutal. His three-point percentage is at 30%, and his defense is somehow worse on any jump shot Keldon Johnson has taken this season. He's shooting 36%. On dunks, layups, hook shots, floaters, well over 50%. So maybe the fix is to just get in the lane more and stop shooting threes, but I don't know. I have no idea. He just has to make more shots. There's not much else really going wrong for them. They're just injured a ton. Vassell's missing time. Wemby's missed a couple of games with the back. It is what it is. I had to find something, and I found Keldon Johnson kind of struggling. Toronto Raptors are a rare team where I have nothing really negative to say. They are trying to lose, and they are competitively tanking, as I like to say, which means they're losing games by less than 10. 5-point loss, 3-point loss, 2-point loss here, 3-point loss there. It's respectable losing. It's hard to have many negative opinions on a team whose entire goal is to be terrible. Shout out Jakob Poeltl for letting us know before the season started that they wanted to be bad. But it's what am I going to come here and say? Jacoby Walters disappointing me. Bro, no. I had no expectations for anybody on this team. I hope Scotty Barnes gets healthy. That's the one thing that I really didn't want to see happen in a tanking bad season for them. Will Scotty Barnes get hurt? He was saying he can't feel his ankle. I gotta check on that. I haven't checked that, but I hope he's okay. But otherwise than that, this Raptors team just had no expectations, so it's kind of hard to be mad at something. Penultimate. I love that word on this channel. The penultimate team is the Utah Jazz. My biggest complaint about them is that they really don't have a blue chip prospect, or you know what a blue chip prospect is? It's a guy that you have marked that's he's special. They don't really have that, in my opinion. I don't see one guy on this team who I can solidly say he's going to be a star and we're going to build around him. I like Lauri Markkanen, but he's 28. That doesn't really fit their timeline. You could argue Keontae George, but I kind of see him as a scoring guard, maybe even a bench guard. I don't see true point guard out of him quite yet. And they aren't really close to being good either. They've been tanking for a couple of seasons now. Guys like Cody Williams haven't really done much this season. Maybe Bryce Sensabaugh look better. But Taylor Hendricks was a guy I was really excited about. Obviously, that was disgusting what happened to him. That was a terrible injury. And like I said, Bryce Sensabaugh was a guy that I'm kind of high on that I guess could be something, but I'm not sure. Kessler's a solid big man. Nothing really special there. Isaiah Collier, nothing really to report there. Like I said, Bryce Sensabaugh might be the best young player on this team up there with Keontae George, but I'm not really sure either one of those guys are the guy. It's going to take a little bit, but I don't know. They got some guys to trade away. Sexton, Collins, so maybe those will net them better draft picks and they'll turn one of them into a star. But as for right now, I just don't see the star, the guy. For the Washington Wizards, I said the Raptors were losing competitively. The Wizards are doing the opposite. It is a gamble damn near every day to see how much they'll lose by. It's a guarantee they're going to lose, but is it going to be by 15 plus, 20 plus? It's never less than 10. Keyshawn George looks pretty good. I get him mixed up with Keontae George. I keep thinking, I'm did they trade Keontae George? I keep getting them completely mixed up. Sorry. Keyshawn George looks good. Jordan Poole looks decent. But overall, this team is gross. If I'm being honest, I think the Washington Wizards fan base should be given Nobel Prizes for watching this. This is atrocious. This is a bad product. Alex Sarr doesn't look good. I don't know how they can even sit there and watch this. I mean, this product is just bad on the court, night in and night out. It's damn near, like I said, it's a guarantee they're going to lose. It's just will it be by 15, 20? It's never, they don't lose by less than 10. They don't lose by less than 10, it feels like. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, share, sub. Thank you for joining me. Took a little bit of work on this one. I'm going to go catch the game. See you guys in the next one.